Hey guys, welcome back to the Masculine Project. My name's Jordan Riggle. Today we're tackling the final two phrases in our ideal masculinity definition. Let's get to it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making.
Now we come to the last part of our ideal masculinity definition. And here's our definition again, just in case you forgot. Ideal masculinity is a man's maximization of his potential for competence in the three domains of his genotype, his phenotype, and his individuality towards a transcendent goal over time. In this video today, we're dealing with the very last part of that definition, over time and towards a transcendent goal. So we'll just take them in reverse order. That seems a little bit easier. The concept of maximization, right, as an idea, usually implies the presence of some kind of extended time frame. It takes time to maximize muscle. It takes time to start and maximize a business. It takes time to maximize a given skill set. It takes time to maximize becoming a good father. And that's because really gaining the necessary experience, the toolkit, the needed abilities to become skillful, it all just takes time. If you're trying to maximize your potential in an area, it's probably going to take you a minute. If you're trying to master multiple skills in multiple areas, it's going to take you an even longer minute. It's been said that Christian discipleship is a long obedience in the same direction. The same concept really applies when we're talking about measuring up to an ideal masculinity. It's going to be a long process in the same direction. It might be 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. You might be cutting calories and losing weight, and then all of a sudden, oh no, you eat the donut, or 3 if you're me, late that one night. But then you get right back at it, cutting calories, not throwing a pity party. Oh no, look at me, I messed up. Instead of perfection, we're talking about the general trajectory of your life being towards competence. In fact, you're going to spend the rest of your life gaining competence. Michael Jordan never said he was the perfect basketball player. Tom Brady has never said he's the perfect quarterback. I would imagine they would each acknowledge that they fall short a lot of their ideal. The truly great always recognize how much they still have to learn. But at the same time, they spent their careers, both these guys, Tom Brady and Michael Jordan, pouring blood, sweat, tears into becoming that ideal anyway. Masculinity is a topic that spans the entirety of your life. It spans the entirety of your life whether you're consciously aware of it or not. Hopefully, you're going to spend the rest of it becoming a better and stronger man over time, consciously. And really, that's what the Masculine Project here, that's what we're wanting to help you do. Now, the next phrase, the next portion of our definition is towards a transcendent goal. Now, maximization implies time, a time frame, but it also implies a destination, a goal, a finish line, something you're moving towards over that time span. This can be thought of as kind of the spiritual purpose for which you wield the sword of masculine competence. When we're talking about overarching goals and objectives, we start moving into the spiritual, the philosophical, the idealistic world. Just maximization implies intention. Intention implies a goal. A power lifter and a bodybuilder are going to maximize their musculature very differently. Well, maybe not very differently, but differently based on their different goals. One wants to get pretty looking muscles. The other wants to just lift as much weight as possible off the ground. Your theological or philosophical end goal will directly shape and mold the final masculine product you become. And it's your goal which most differentiates positive masculinity from toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity seeks to control, defeat, dominate, to use masculine strength for that man's own perceived good, not the true good of himself and those around him over time. The goal for which you use your masculine skills determines whether you're a good man or an evil man. Competence is a tool. It can be used for both great good and great evil. Remember Sauron, right, in Lord of the Rings was more powerful and competent than Gandalf was, but living with Sauron sucked. And living with Gandalf was awesome, with smoke rings and fireworks. Tolkien wrote about Sauron's goal, quote, "Hobbits as miserable slaves would please him far more than hobbits happy and free. There is such a thing as malice and revenge." A man can be an incredibly fast runner, but if he's running in the wrong direction, he's never going to win the race. For Christians, this is why someone like Jocko Willink, say, can be a better embodiment of ideal masculinity than, say, a given celebrity pastor. But unlike the pastor, he's using all his masculine horsepower to run in the wrong direction. The pastor is running in the right direction, but most likely has much weaker horsepower than Jocko Willink. Actually, now that I think about it, that's a great analogy for the difference between godliness and masculinity. And that explains, I think, why maybe so many young men, myself included, for a long while now, have started to turn towards masculine men like Jocko Willink or Joe Rogan over celebrity pastors. Godliness is running towards the right finish line. Masculinity is how fast you're running. Your running form, the horsepower you're working with. You could be, Usain Bolt himself, but if you're running away from the finish line, you're never going to win the race. It's much better to be a plodder plodding towards the right finish line than Usain Bolt heading the wrong direction. However, it is even better to be Usain Bolt running the right way. Yeah, I like that analogy. I want to have a lot of horsepower and be running in the right direction at the same time. So the question really boils down to why. Why would a man go through this apprenticeship and ascend the social hierarchy? Why does he want to get more horsepower? What's the fuel in his masculine boiler? Well, all we have to ask ourselves is, what different goals do men have throughout the past? What are common goals found in our culture? As a wise man once wrote, there's never anything new under the sun. Just off the top of my head, we have money, right? Society tends to pay men who have ascended the social hierarchy more, since they tend to be at the top of hierarchies. What else? We have respect, right? Or maybe honor. Society tends to honor men at the top more. We have competitiveness, right? When I say these competencies are games, some men take that very seriously. They take these games very seriously, and they mean to win. And they want to win every single game, all the time. Another one is a given man might just want to avoid destruction or like hard times for himself and his family, right? If you don't develop these skills, life can become very, very hard for you. The problem with all of these goals, though, is that they're utility-based. They're centered on yourself. And as soon as the difficulty of the apprenticeship outweighs the utility, you'll quit the apprenticeship. You'll let off on the gas pedal. If you just want to avoid hard times, once your life is kind of chill, there's a temptation to give up on the gas. Whereas if your goal is competitive based, right, where you want to be the best at what you do, You'll never ease up on the gas in the areas you're most competitive in, even if the given area conflicts with another important facet of your responsibilities. For example, right, some hyper-competitive men won't ease up on the gas pedal at work, even to save their marriage or even to parent their kids well. Think like Jeff Bezos, right? He got a divorce even though he was the richest man in the world at one time. As an Orthodox little o Christian, I believe the best goal is transcendent and outside of yourself. It lies in the fact that you were created, and not just created, but created for a purpose. You were created to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. This is a goal that touches every aspect of masculinity and whose motivation will never run dry. It's not going to pull you off balance or out of whack like competitiveness will, or like the desire for money will, or the desire for an easy life will. Instead, it harmonizes and blends everything perfectly. You can be very, very competitive and be very, very focused on your family because God commands both. You can be assertive and compassionate at the same time, even with the same person. In fact, you were created to use all your masculine skills to rule this earth on behalf of the God who made it. And I think we did it. With that, I think we did it. We made it all the way through the definition of ideal masculinity. And now you might be wondering, great, I know the theory now, but what's the actual way I can use this definition in my actual life? And that's a great question. So click here to watch a practical video. And the next videos are going to be practical on how to use this masculine progression in your day-to-day life. If you want a detailed analysis of where you stand compared to this ideal masculinity, so you know exactly where and how to get started, go down into the description below and get the masculine checklist from my Substack. It breaks down all the masculine progressions that'll help you grow. It asks you practical questions to help you figure out where you are right now and what you need to do to get started doing things. You also get the transcripts of all my YouTube videos and an extra article written by me for men every other week. So click the link down in the description below. Most men, they just want the dopamine hit that comes from absorbing new information. Are you going to be different and actually take some action? If so, click the link down below and get after it.